to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the assholes on the Dynasty tonight.
That's right.
It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to raise the curtain on the Dynasty tonight. Why do we always come here? I guess we'll never know. It's like some kind of torture to have to watch the show. And now let's get things started. Why don't you get things started? It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, sexuational. This is what we call the Dynasty Podcast.
Welcome to the mock draft special edition of the Dynasty Podcast. We are here now, full-fledged in the Dynasty 14th season of this glorious league in which you've all been part of for either a long duration of time or a short duration of time, depending on who you are, listener. But with me, co-hosting this show here today, is Coach Briscoe, coach of Valvinus. Briscoe, hello.
Hello. Hope everyone is doing well today.
Yes, we are only a few days away now from draft day, and we are gonna go ahead and do what we've been doing for a long time here on this show and mock draft for you assholes. It's it's probably, I would think, one of the, there's so many publications out there with other podcasts and just going online and listening to radio shows and reading up on stuff. There's fantasies all over the place, but just dedicated for the Dynasty. This is probably the best draft prep that you can probably do, is at least hear a couple of knuckleheads like us at least attempt to predict what's going to happen in mock draft, and it might give you an idea of what players may or may not be available when you're selecting and things like that. Would you agree?
Yeah, of course. Except if you're someone like Bub who doesn't have a pick in the first 10 rounds. I think it's Bub. Somebody doesn't have a pick in the first 10 rounds.
Well, I'm glad that you came here prepared, Briscoe, because
Always prepared.
I'm pretty sure Briscoe. Yeah, Bubba definitely has a pick in the second round. And he's in decent shape from a pick standpoint. I think you're probably thinking of Zach, who
Zach, yes.
Yeah, he has a pick in the third round, but then doesn't have a pick again until round 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I blend the Palooza brothers together.
Sure. We'll get further into detail regarding that as we get into this, but a few things that maybe we just wanted to touch upon first. So, a lot of changes here going into the Dynasty 14. A lot of rule changes, a lot of policy changes, a lot of just ways things are gonna be different here for this year and going forward. Anything that pops out and stands out to you, Briscoe? Any questions about anything? Speak for the people, speak for the league. Is there anything that needs to maybe be clarified, or is everything crystal clear?
No, I think a lot of the changes are pretty clear. I think there's some good change where, the league is for the people, by the people. That's what we like to see.
We are the People's League. I like it.
Yes.
Good. Well, of course, if anyone has, as we're heading into the league, we had a lot of changes. I think I tried to, provide everything in detail in the edition 1 of the Riverdale Gazette, which by now everyone should have received. But of course, as we're heading into the league, if you have any questions, or if you want to ask at the draft or whatever, that's fine. Speaking of the Riverdale Gazette, Briscoe, did you enjoy yours, and anything stand out to you within that publication?
Of course I enjoyed my Riverdale Gazette.
You sound offended that I even asked.
I am. I'm deeply offended. It's one of the premier events of the year. I said, wait for my mail to come in, and the Riverdale Gazette, there it is.
There it is. Yep. Death, taxes, and the Riverdale Gazette. It's gonna happen, right? Well, I'm glad to hear that. Let's see. So within the Gazette, the odds makers, which consists of Zach, Chris, and myself, we did a breakdown of over-unders and win predictions and things like that. I know I'm putting you a little bit on the spot here, Briscoe, but should we do a quick power rankings heading into the draft?
The Power Rankings. Hey, hey, hey. Who's number one? Hey, hey. Who's second ass? The Dynasty Power Rankings.
All right, Briscoe, I'll let you take it away. Go ahead and hit us with your personal power rankings.
All right, so top 3, I will put Benjamin Green because he has the most picks. I know he's been stocking up on picks for a few years now.
Yep, he's got 2 in the second, 2 in the 5th, I think, and then he's got basically every round. He's got 1 pick, I think. So, yep, makes sense.
I will go with myself a second.
Sure.
I've stocked up on a few picks.
Yep.
I think that I know what I'm doing.
You're in good shape pick-wise as well, yep.
And third, I was originally going to go Golden Tate. However, the horrendous trade that was just made, where he basically mortgaged his team to get a second rounder. My mind is baffled by that trade.
Sure, yeah. So just to fill y'all in there, he traded I want to say 2 5ths, 1 6th, and then like a 15th rounder to obtain.
And his firstborn, I think.
to obtain Chris's second round pick, which is kind of like in the middle of the second round. And it didn't get a lot of praise from the Dynasty Trading Committee from a grade the trade standpoint either. Though I gotta say, I didn't think it was horrendous. He had a lot of picks to deal with, so maybe he's thinking, hey, he's gonna be drafting basically his bench players by the 5th round. So maybe I'll trade like 3 of my bench players for a top of the line starter. It makes sense.
Yeah. So the only people who've liked the trade now are Neil, who is also trying to sell a second round pick and wants the same value.
Yeah.
And yourself, who also trades down for picks and gets some in return.
Right.
So it's a little ironic how people who like to trade down say, oh, yeah, the trade's great. But anybody who's not really in the trade market does think it's a great trade.
True. That's a good point. Strategies and of everyone's theories and whatnot are all different, and that can affect how you feel about other trades. So you're not going to say Golden Tate in the top 3. Okay, so who are you going to say?
I will go with Soul Glow.
Soul Glow, sure. Yeah, he's also in good shape from a pick standpoint. So you want to just stick with that then? We'll just a top 3 to 4. Or you want to keep roll down?
Stick with the top 3 there. The rest is irrelevant.
It's it should be, but now that we've gone to the 6 playoff team format because you all want a participation trophy, then it kind of does make a difference. But that's okay. That's okay.
If we want to keep going, I'll put Bub as 4th.
Okay.
Golden Tate is 5th.
Okay.
And then who can round out my top 6? I'll let you round out my top 6.
Oh, thanks, buddy. That's a good, interesting. So if you're not on that top 6, and you're predicting that you're not going to make the playoffs. So I'm sorry to hear that. Let's move forward. Let's finally do this. Let's do what we're here to do, Briscoe.
I like it.
All right, Briscoe. So usually it's Bob and I, obviously, but this year, you, which is great, and myself are gonna mock draft the second round. Last year, as we all know, we changed the keeper policy where the first round is your keeper round. So I think it probably makes sense for us to, in order for us to mock the second round, we'll quickly kind of at least predict, who everyone's keepers are going to be. So let's go ahead and start with the loggers. So obviously he traded for Ezekiel Elliott, and we all know by now that he's suspended for at least the first 6 weeks. That's being appealed, and that may or may not change. Briscoe, I don't know. I'm sure you've become Scoop McGee here, knowing that you were gonna co-host the shindig here with me. So I'm sure you've done your part in breaking down and getting into the vines of everyone's locker room. I believe there's a rumor out there that you are the man behind the Riverdale Times Twitter.
Who started that rumor?
I don't know. I heard it somewhere, so I don't know if it's true. I'm not sure if that publication is even still up and running. I haven't seen a tweet there in about 6 months, but that's okay.
That's interesting. That somehow I got behind that.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I don't know if it's true or not, but anyway, I'm sure you've been doing your due diligence in finding out, who's gonna keep what and all that. What are your feelings on who Ben may keep? Do you think he will keep Zeke, or do you think he might go somewhere else?
I mean, I don't think he has really too much of a choice. He's got Zeke and I guess maybe Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Those are his really two options. It's going to be a tough decision. I would say he's going to go towards Michael Thomas. Would be my guess if Zeke's gone for the first 6 games.
Yeah, I agree with you. So let's go ahead and say he's going to keep Michael Thomas, though a tough decision. And if there's new information that becomes available before the draft, that may change things. But more than likely, we won't find out until after the draft. So.
After further debate, I've actually changed my mind. He's going to take Zeke Elliott because he's got so many early picks. He figures he has a strong enough team that's going to carry him into the playoffs, and if he's got Zeke in his back pocket, he's going to be ready to roll.
Well, good thought, Briscoe. But unless Ben is basically lying to me, he pretty much told me he's keeping Michael Thomas. So, breaking information right there. See, you're only hearing here first on the Dynasty podcast. You're not listening. You're losing out on some vital information, you bastards. Michael Thomas is who Ben said he's keeping as of like a few days ago. So we have to go with that.
Move.
Yeah. Golden Tate made an interesting trade with me, which I was fine to continue, go with. He traded for Brandon Cooks. He does have guys on his team like Jordan Howard and Gronk. Obviously, the Edelman injury now plays a part into all this. You got to imagine he's going to keep Cooks because otherwise you obviously wouldn't have made a trade for picks in order to obtain him, I would think. Is that correct, Briscoe?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say, but I guess I forgot about that trade. That's number 2 horrible trade. He's now been knocked out of my top 4 in the power rankings.
Shit. Out of the top 4.
Is he at this point?
He's at 10, so he's out of the playoffs. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just for that. Okay. Soulglow, he also made a trade somewhat recently, which actually got horrific grades by me for the grade of the trade thing. I traded AJ Green to him. I basically moved up in the 6th round in order to do that. I gotta hear someone else's opinion. Bub explained it to me, and it made sense. I don't agree with it, but it made sense. Do you think that trade was like, basically I got raped and Brian raped me? Do you remember that trade?
For AJ Green?
Yeah. So I traded him AJ Green, and I got his 6th round pick, which is like in like the 3rd pick in the 6th round or something, and he got my 6th round pick, which was the last pick in the 6th round.
No, I don't think that's terrible.
I don't either. I mean, I'm in decent shape pick-wise, so I really like trading like for an 8th or a 9th doesn't really do much for me. I mean, I would if I had to, but yeah, that was interesting to me too. But hey, again, we're all entitled to our opinions. So AJ Green's, he has Jay Ajayi, and I talked to Brian, and he kind of hinted that may be a possibility, but yeah, no way. It's AJ Green, right?
It has to be.
Yeah. All right, Valvinus. You wanna tell us who you're keeping? I mean, I think it's obvious, but
I mean, I just made a trade recently as well. Gave up my 9th round in 2018 for a high impact player, LaShawn McCoy, who's supposed to have a breakout year with his new offensive coordinator with the Bills. So.
Are you scared at all that the Bills may be in like full tank mode and they may look to trade Shady or go, see what they have?
No, they've already come out and said they absolutely have no plans to trade Shady, and he is their guy.
Okay, all right, Shady McCoy. Then we got Yoi Soy. He made a trade with Phil. Antonio Brown for David Johnson, straight up. Obviously, Phil will be keeping David Johnson, and Derek will be keeping Antonio Brown. Then we have VIP Chris. He also made a trade. So again, we would think that he's going to be keeping Mike Evans, right? Because he traded for him.
Has to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brutal Deluxe. Now things are getting a little interesting. Brutal Deluxe. He has not made any trades at all. He basically doesn't have much on his roster from what I can see. I pointed out in the Gazette that from a average draft position standpoint, the highest guy he's got is Doug Baldwin, who isn't a terrible player. Obviously, he's probably a top 10 receiver, somewhere around there. But at this point, I guess we have to assume that's who he's keeping, and that's who he told me he's probably keeping. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a trade on draft day, before we kind of kick things off. You
don't think Adrian Peterson's an option?
No. There are players out there available. In the topper echelon. The Devontae Freemans, the Gronks, the Jordy Nelson. Guys like that. But as of right now, we have to just go off of what we know, which is, I guess he's going to keep Doug Baldwin. What do you think about that?
I think that if he doesn't make a trade, he's in some big trouble.
So, do you think it makes sense for him to trade, say, a 9th or a 10th round pick, whether it be this year or next year, for one of those top echelon type of players?
Sure, why not? What's the risk? Why wouldn't you trade a 10th rounder for somebody in the top? The person we're trading it away has nothing to lose either.
Well, I think Coach Brandon is an understanding fella, and I think he's listening to us talk this out. Maybe it's helping him think about it as well, Brandon. I know you're listening. And I have a feeling he's going to make a trade on draft day, although maybe he now won't, just to spite us. But we don't know what that's going to be, so let's just stick with Doug Baldwin for now.
Since he's in my division, I actually don't think he should make a trade.
Okay, fair enough. William DeYoung, the Senators, he made a trade as well. Des Bryant, so we were going to imagine he's keeping him. Bub and Zach both traded each other Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, so we got to think Bub is keeping Julio, and Zach is keeping Beckham. We already mentioned Phil keeping David Johnson, which, by the way, as I pointed out in the Gazette, a long time since he's kept a running back. Last running back he kept was D'Angelo Williams. So there you go. And then myself, I'm keeping Le'Veon Bell, obviously. I have Aaron Rodgers and Jordy, but I'm going with Le'Veon Bell. And I heard he's supposed to return back to camp on Wednesday or Thursday. So hopefully that happens.
Think a comeback? He's been supposed to come back for the last week.
Yeah, but I think he literally said, I'm coming back on September 1st. So before it was just kind of rumored, but I think he literally said it. So I hope that happens. Anyway. So there you go. That's who we're projecting to be keepers. So obviously if some of that is wrong, then that's going to throw everything off. The whole snowball domino effect. Over the years, Bub and I have sometimes nailed these things for the most part. Other times we've been horrifically, incorrectly wrong. Let's see what happens with us, Briscoe. Let's see what type of magic we can bring here. Are you feeling confident about the second round draft mock session?
Of course, how can we be wrong?
What's that? Come again?
We can't be wrong.
We can't be wrong. Well, I know Bubba reached out to us via Twitter on some tips for you, and he said, what did he say?
Follow your heart, kid.
That's right. You'll never go wrong. Which, of course, we all know what's that from, that movie, and I'm not even going to say it, because if you don't know, I don't want to know you. So there you go. All right. First pick in the second round of the actual draft, pick number 13, Coach Ben Green, Boston Loggers. Let's work together, Briscoe. We're assuming he's keeping Michael Thomas. What do you think?
It's got to go Devontae Freeman, right? If he doesn't get traded for.
That's my thoughts as well. Devontae Freeman is at the top of my board. And I don't. By the way, I don't have any second round picks, so I'm going to be a little bit more kind of, at least for the first few picks, more freedom to tell you what at least my opinions on things, because I'm not getting any of these players. So, I have Freeman as the top available running back. You don't think he could go Jordy Nelson or Ezekiel Elliott?
He could go Zeke as well, but I think he'll stick with Freeman, and he's already got a receiver, Michael Thomas, so he might as well go with Freeman.
I agree. A couple of guys from the NFC South. So we got Ben Green going with Devontae Freeman. Next pick, Golden Taint. So, obviously, he's new to the league. He'll be new to all of us, but he's excited to join us, and this will be his first actual real draft pick. Not really counting a keeper pick. So, what are we thinking here? We have him keeping Brandon Cooks.
Scott Zolak, maybe?
I heard Michael Bishop's having a good training camp.
That's what I was thinking too. Michael Bishop might come back.
Oh, I mean,
Mike Vick even.
I don't know if he's Patriot, good. I mean, we all do, right? But an extra hard on for the Patriots, considering the Cooks thing, or obviously the Patriots have, if not the best, one of the best offenses in the league, so you can't really fault them for that type of stuff. But do you think you might want to team him up with Gronk? Go that route, or Brady or something like that, or could he go jump on like a Jordy or another top receiver?
I think he'll probably jump on a Jordy Nelson.
Okay, so we're thinking Jordy Nelson there, because I was honestly leaning a little bit more towards Gronk, but I'm good with Jordy too. I think it probably makes more sense to go Jordy here, but okay, all right.
We'll go with Jordy.
Jordy it is. Jordy Nelson going to Coach LaChapelle. Third pick in the second round, pick number 15 overall, Coach Brian Tavaleri of the Soglodians. We have him keeping A.J. Green. If he was serious about being extra high on and possibly keeping Jay Ajayi, he is available here for him. He had him last year, and I know he likes him. I have him as one of the top running backs here. We got guys like DeMarco Murray, Melvin Gordon, Jordan Howard. But then, we got the receivers, Amari Cooper, and then Gronk's still there. What are you thinking?
If he's high on Jay Ajayi, then we'll throw Jay Ajayi in there.
Okay, I like that. Jay Ajayi, Brian Tavaleri. See, look at that. See, Brian, you don't have to. It wasn't a tough decision to keep AJ because you can get Ajayi probably. So there you go. Now we get you. So obviously, I'm guessing you're not going to want to give anything away. We have. So I'll take it. You're keeping McCoy.
Yep.
We still got the Rodgers Brady, top quarterbacks there. I guess I'll ask you overall. Do you think that the quarterbacks are, obviously quarterback is somewhat deep, but maybe kind of top heavy. Do you see a quarterback going in the second round?
I can guarantee you, I will not be taking a quarterback in the first round. Probably not the second round either.
Wow. Okay, I like it. All right, but can you see maybe a quarterback going in the second round? Not to you.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I can see somebody deciding that that's a good idea to draft in the second round, and then somebody won't finish in the top four.
Okay. All right. I like it. I like the boldness here. All right. So we know you're not going quarterback. You've got McCoy. I have a feeling you may. You know what? Melvin Gordon, Jordan Howard. Those guys had great years last year. They're both relatively young. You may want to team that up with maybe a more veteran presence at your other running back position with McCoy. But then again, you may want to, go running back and then get a top receiver. But I have a feeling the second round is going to be very running back heavy, and I think you're going to align with that. So I'm going to say you're going to go ahead and take Melvin Gordon here. Feel free to ignore and not say anything, or feel free to say something. I'm going to give you 3 seconds.
Fair assessment is my only comments.
Okay. All right, now we got Yoisoy, Derek Mello. He is picking at pick number 17. Overall, we got him keeping Antonio Brown. Again, we got the quarterbacks. We got several running backs. We got a lot of receivers and Gronk. What do you think?
Oof. I think he's going to keep on the running back train.
Wow. So, DeMarco Murray, Jordan Howard, Lamar Miller, Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Gurley, and so forth. Any one of those that you're thinking I don't know if he has, at least in our league, any kind of bond with any of these players that I just named. So.
Oh, Lamar Miller's an intriguing option. If he's a second year in the offense, he could break out. Well, we'll try and throw Lamar Miller out there.
Is it okay if I veto that?
Yeah, go ahead. No problem.
Okay, thank you. I think though I agree with what you said, I think it might be a little bit of a stretch for him to go Lamar Miller here with some of the other running backs on the board.
Fair enough.
So I'm gonna veto that with all due respect. And you know what? I'm gonna go with Gronk here. I'm gonna go with Gronk. I think
that was my second choice.
Yeah. I mean, again, the Edelman. God, the Edelman injury sucks. And I just want to say this right now. I don't know if you guys are going to agree. Or Briscoe, what do you think? I think Julian Edelman is literally the most underrated Patriots player ever.
I don't know if he's underrated.
Okay, so that's a different... Yeah, so do you think he's underrated? And I think he's underrated considering, where I think he's looked at. Like, in other words, I don't think he's viewed as, like, even like a top 10 receiver in the league or something. So that's why I'm saying that. Anyway, okay, so we're going with Gronk with Derek here. So he's teaming up Antonio Brown with Gronk, which has huge possible potential. Now we have Golden Taint, second pick in the second round, pick number 18. This is the pick we talked about earlier where he traded with Chris, so this was Chris's pick. So we have Andrew keeping Cooks, already drafting Jordy. So now we have... Hello, Briscoe.
Hey,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, we lost each other, but we're back. So, yeah, we got Golden Taint's second pick in the second round. We have them keeping Cooks and drafting Jordy already. Gronk is now gone. And for what it's worth, I think if Gronk is still available here, he will go that route. But in this mock, we have him not being available, obviously. So that said, we got the running backs. We still have a good amount of receivers here. Although we already have him... we have him having Cooks and Jordy, so there's no way he's going receiver here. I think he's definitely having to go running back. Would you agree?
Yeah, it'd have to.
So, DeMarco, Jordan Howard, Ezekiel Elliott, Lamar Miller, Todd Gurley. You thinking... he may...
Jordan Howard. You got Jordan Howard.
I was going to say that too, but he actually currently has Jordan Howard on his roster. And, he could keep him. He's obviously choosing not to. You don't think DeMarco Murray? I think between DeMarco Murray and Jordan Howard. I'll let you choose between the two.
I'm going to say Jordan Howard.
Okay.
DeMarco Murray was just too much of a bum last year, I think, that I will follow into this year. He did nothing.
Bite your tongue. He led me to a Dynasty championship.
He's horrible.
You're either throwing us off the scent of who you're picking, or you're just not a fan of DeMarco Murray.
I hate DeMarco Murray.
All right, pick number 19, Bruto Deluxe. We have him keeping Doug Baldwin. Could he be the one to go with Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? Could he be the one to go with the aforementioned DeMarco Murray, who you don't like?
Yeah, he'll take it. I'll throw Aaron Rodgers. I'll throw an Aaron Rodgers in there.
Okay. So we're good with that? You good with maybe?
Actually, no. I'll save Aaron Rodgers for Will. When's Will pick?
The next pick.
Yeah, the next pick's Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
We'll say Todd Gurley here.
Todd Gurley over guys. What about the receivers? Amari Cooper, T.Y. Hilton, DeAndre, Demarius.
T.Y. Hilton's an intriguing option. You have any insight to this?
I don't. I actually don't. I literally have nothing. So I'm fine.
Let's go T.Y. Hilton.
All right. So two receivers, Baldwin, Hilton.
Yeah, Baldwin, Hilton.
There it is. Okay. T.Y. Hilton. All right. Next pick. We already talked about it. He's keeping Dez. We think he's going quarterback here. You thinking Brady or Rodgers?
I'm thinking Rodgers. That is a pretty intense 1-2 punch. Rodgers, Dez.
Yeah, and I forget exactly now what the stat is. I've tweeted this a bunch of times, but Aaron Rodgers has some disgustingly sick recent record of wins and losses in the Dynasty. He was on my team last year. He was on Ben's team the year before. He went 14-1. He was on my team the year before that, where I went 14-1, and then I think he was on like he won maybe 5 or 6 games in a row before that. So he's like something like 36-4 or something in the last like 4 years. So that's either going to continue with Will, we're thinking, or very much stop that good record. We will see. The next pick we have is Bubba. Pick number 21. We know that Bub's been floating around thinking about trading this pick, though I think that he hasn't received anything at this point that he is, liked so much where he's, locked in to make a trade. Obviously, things could change on draft day, but at this point, I think we have to assume he's keeping this pick. So we have him keeping Julio. And then, let's see, so we still have running backs such as DeMarco Murray, Zeke, Lamar Miller, Todd Gurley. We got Brady on the board. We got Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, Demaryius Thomas on the board. What are you thinking?
See, I want to say DeMarco Murray, but
you have more insight to Bub, I think, than I do. So I'm, if you think
I'm gonna guess DeMarco Murray.
You thinking DeMarco? I mean, he had DeMarco a couple years ago when DeMarco. I know last year he was great, even though you don't think so. But the couple years ago when DeMarco completely went off, he had him then as well. So I'm okay with that. DeMarco Murray.
Yeah.
Okay, DeMarco Murray to Bubba. All right. Next we have Phil Pig Newtons keeping David Johnson. I probably have more insight, or I don't have any knowledge, but Phil and I tend to draft very similar sometimes. So I would guess he would draft here. I'm gonna go with Amari Cooper. I think he would.
That's a good one.
He kept Johnson, so I think he'd look at the receiver position, and I think Amari Cooper. And I'm pretty sure he's high on Derek Carr, so that would make sense. So we got Phil. Yeah, we got Phil drafting Amari Cooper. Second to last pick in the second round, Ben again. We got Coach Ben Green. This is a pick he obtained. I don't remember how. Do you remember how he got this pick? It's Zach's pick. So does that help? Remember?
I do not know.
I don't remember either. But Zach or Ben, more likely Ben, feel free to tweet us here and let us know and remind us. But anyway, his second pick in the second round, we have him keeping Michael Thomas. We already have him drafting Devontae Freeman. Who are you thinking here? I mean, Zeke is still available, so maybe he wants to feel kind of vindicated and for trading for him by maybe now drafting him here. But
does he go Brady?
I was just gonna say, but then Brady's here too, and if we think Brady's gonna have one of those crazy seasons that we've seen before, then that would make sense as well. There's still some other good running backs. We still got other receivers. So, for me, it's between Brady and Zeke. What do you think?
I'll say Zeke just because of his FOMO, if you will.
His what?
His fear of missing out. It's what all the kids say nowadays.
Okay, all right. I'm not hip to that kind of lingo. I gotcha. All right, cool. So we got Zeke going to Ben there. All right. Last pick in the second round. The last pick we'll be mocking here. It is Andrew's third pick in the second round. Fourth player being obtained, obviously, with the keeper player. We have him keeping Cooks. We have him drafting Jordy. We also have him drafting Jordan Howard. So, with the last pick in this mock, it's got to be Brady, right?
It's Brady.
Brady here?
100% Brady.
There you go. I agree. So, quick rundown. We have I'm going to skip the keepers. You guys have already all heard that so far. We have Loggers picking Devontae Freeman. Taint picking Jordy Nelson. Soulglow, Jay Ajayi. Valvinus, Melvin Gordon. Yoisoy Gronk. Taint. Taint. Get it? Taint. Taint, Jordan Howard. Brutal, Hilton. Senators, Rogers. Bub, DeMarco. Phil, Cooper. Loggers, Zeke. Taint, Brady. Briscoe. if you were to put the over-under on how many we are going to get, like, exactly correct, what would you set that at?
2.5.
2.5?
2. Let's say 2. Two's a push.
I was going to say about 3.5 to 4.5, but maybe I'm setting my expectations too high. Because
that's aggressive.
It is aggressive, I know. I mean, I feel good about it. I don't know about the brutal T.Y. Hilton pick. And the other one that we had some trouble deciding on was the second taint pick with Jordan Howard. But we'll see. That was fun. I hope that was all helpful to everybody. I hope it was.
We interrupt this broadcast to remind you that you can get all of the latest Dynasty updates by following the Riverdale Gazette on Twitter. The Riverdale Gazette Twitter page. Don't be left behind.
Okay, so at the draft, Briscoe, which is, again, just mere days away now, any questions that you have about the administration of it, the maintenance, what time do I come, what do I bring, what do I wear, anything at all. Any questions, again, that you may have or you think that some of the listeners may have?
Well, I have no idea what time the draft is. What time's the draft?
Shoot.
You don't even know what time the draft is.
Shit. I'm going to send out you know what? In the email of this podcast, in the content, in the body of this email, I will also include some information regarding the draft. And in that information will be the details regarding the time and the location and whatnot. So look for that, because I need to look that shit up too. I want to say around 2, I think, or 3, but it will be in this email. Anything else, Briscoe, about the draft that you have questions about?
Will you have the answer to it?
It depends on what the question is.
All right. No, I mean, a little bit about the Nerf guns. I feel like they went downhill last year in comparison to what I've heard in the past. What's the expectation here this year?
That's a wonderful question, Briscoe, and I appreciate you for not only being who you are, but asking the question. If I were with you right now, I'd make out with you. Anyway, that was weird. Things just got weird. Sorry about that. Yeah, I've been noticing as well that, that the whole Nerf situation thing was, may have peaked and now is on the downhill. I don't know. Maybe this just got a little lull and maybe it'll come back. I don't know. We're not forcing it, right? If it happens, it happens. If you're gonna redraft the player, if you're gonna spell a player's name. Another thing, Briscoe, I want to point out here, now that I have the opportunity. Reminder, especially for Bub, you have to now write the full player's name when you're drafting them. You can't now just do like the first initial of the first name, period, and the last name. You have to do the full name now. So that we'll see how that plays itself out with possible nerfings and whatnot. I personally will be bringing a Nerf gun for myself. Feel free to bring your own Nerf gun as well if you'd like, and then we'll just see what happens. That's all I can say about that.
Perfect.
Okay. So, let me ask you a question. From what you know, do you think the Riverdale Times and or the Riverdale Post and or the Riverdale Gazette will be tweeting during the event?
Riverdale Gazette versus
Riverdale Post.
I have no idea.
You have no idea. No clue.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's behind most of them. I only know who's behind the Gazette. So
yes.
Everything else is a mystery.
Do you hope that will be happening, or do you think that's a distraction and you just want to focus on drafting?
I hope that it will be happening.
Okay.
It makes for some good conversation and discussions, and then the bantering back and forth between the respective news outlets is always entertaining as well.
Sure. News in extremely loose quotes as well.
Yes.
Give me a bold prediction. Right off the cuff, give me a bold prediction on, like, literally anything you want regarding draft day.
Bob will get nerfed twice for not putting the full name.
Okay. I like it. Good prediction. Well, there you go. Briscoe, thank you for hosting here. Where can everyone find you on Twitter?
At Briscoe537.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I probably will have a show after the draft in which Dave Richard will be on. If you want to co-host that with me, let me know. Otherwise, it will just be me. If it's just me, it will be a very quick show because I don't think you all want to just hear me talk. But if you want to co-host, let me know. Otherwise, or either way, I'll see you at the draft on Saturday, not Sunday, Saturday. And the Dynasty 14.
The magnet says Sunday.
No, it doesn't. Get out of here. No, it doesn't. Does it really?
I don't know. I think it does.
Oh, shit. Well, come Saturday. 12 teams, 16 rounds, 192 men who today are about to become players in the Dynasty. A day where lives are changed, fates are decided, dynasties are born, and the clock is always ticking. Of course, I'm talking about Draft Day.
Thank you for listening to the Dynasty Podcast. To hear more podcasts in your ear holes, subscribe to the show on YouTube. Or don't. The choice is yours.